Thank you for joining us on this beautiful afternoon. It is time for Newsfeed with me, Linda Alela. So much is so for you in terms of news as we keep track of everything that is happening so we are able to update you. And so to kick us the bulletin, the Pubs Entertainment Restaurants Association of Kenya, PERAC, is asking the government to take action on establishments that break the law or failing to enforce safety measures against COVID-19 on an individual level and not collectively. PERAC chairperson Ali Supe says that the protocols on the reopening of the tourism sector included eateries and restaurants, but not bars, discos and entertainment joys. Thus, restaurants should not be punished alongside bars when implementing the Public Health Act 2020. Let's listen in.
We, Pubs Entertainment Restaurant Association of Kenya, applaud the President, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, for reopening the economy amid all this difficulty and trying times occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic. We appreciate the measures taken to enable us return back to work safely, and we call counties to increase their capacity to handle critical patients, even as the number of cases are risen over the recent past. Unfortunately, some of the businesses that have reopened have flouted the protocols which has developed to the Ministries of Health and Tourism in consultations with the sector. As key stakeholders in the sector and a vital member of the team that drafted the tourism sector reopening protocols, we wish to state as follows. The final release of the tourism sector reopening protocols was categorical on which types of business should reopen at this time. These included restaurants and eateries only. Bars, discos, entertainment venues were not and are not permitted to reopen at this time. Few isolation incidents that have breached the laws have been highlighted in social print and broadcast media. This is a small percentage and should not be recorded in any sector. There should not be a collective punishment to the entire sector. Offenders should be individually charged in court. The isolated businesses highlighted in the media are not members of PERAC. That is a Pubs Entertainment Restaurants Association of Kenya. And as such, we disassociate our members and the association from heinous and the act of flouting the laws as laid down by the government. Our members have strictly and observed the health and economic protocols, including and not limited to social distancing, sanitizing, and other use of PPEs. We also wish to emphasize that it has cost us a lot of money. Reopening of the restaurants has cost us a lot of money in the recent past. We are not interested in flouting the laws at this stage.
We have noted with concern the draft regulation by the Ministry of Health in circulation. Section 3 and 5 of the draft proposes to ban sale and consumption of alcohol to sit-in customers in restaurants and eateries. This is after the same outlets have gone through a lengthy and expensive process of obtaining a Form C that allowed them to do exactly that. If the proposal is approved, thousands will be rendered jobless and businesses likely to collapse. Section 3 and 5 means the only place where alcohol can be consumed is in people's homes. This is against the spirit of Alcoholic Drinks Control Act, which bans sale and consumption of alcohol in the presence of children. We have also noted an order and declaration given by the Kiambu Governor, James Tunyoro, closing all restaurants and pubs selling alcohol and purporting to ban the sale of alcohol in the populous county. We urge the Governor to respect the rule of law, and we have in mind the welfare of businesses in the county to avoid making unilateral decisions. We in PERAC believe in self-regulation. I am in active and constant monitoring of our members in observing our code of ethics and protocols in the conduct of the business. We thus request the government to strengthen its enforcement and monitoring arms to ensure strict adherence to the rules and laws as set out the COVID-19 protocols across board.
And now to the corridors of justice. A serious Member of Parliament John Waluke's bond application hearing, pending the hearing of the appeal of his case, is currently underway. The hearing, which is being conducted online, will determine whether the 67-year-old will be released from prison for the period that the appeal case will be going on through his lawyers Ondieki and Ondieki advocates. The Member of Parliament cites inconsistency and lack of independence in the ruling, where he was sentenced to 67 years in jail or a fine of 707 million after a conviction of over 297 million scandal.
Which both have been
All right, and we'll be following up on that and update you accordingly. Now, despite the rains subsiding with the end of the rainy season, many communities are yet to recover from the trail of destruction that has been left behind. Residents of Makima, Embu County are courting death every day by crossing a river on foot after the only bridge in the area was swept away by the rains. Moige William reports.
Residents of Gideshu village in Makema Ward, Embu County, have expressed their concern over the poor conditions of the Makema-Masinga Road. The condition of the road worsened due to heavy rains last season. And now, many of the local residents who are farmers are concerned about losing their produce as it has become difficult to transport their produce to the markets.
Vukisha mazao yetu inakuwa problem kubwa sana. Wao watakuja wakute barabara imeharibika kabisa, wacha wakati sasa tunawanyesha wapitie kando, wakikuja kuchukua matunda na nini hiyo watakuja wakatae kupita, na wakikataa kupita sasa unaona tunaingia ngalama juu ya kuuza matunda yetu juu itakuja kuosea kwa shamba.
The villagers also fear for their lives as they have to cross Dunda River, which is likely infested with crocodiles on foot after the rains swept away Dunda River Bridge. Even before the bridge collapsed, it was a nuisance to the locals. In April this year, a child who was crossing the bridge slipped and fell into the river and drowned.
Hii drift inashikana na Tana River hapa. Na kuna viboko na mamba. Mara nyingine watoto wanaweza pita hapa na unaona ni kwa maji. Wakute mamba pengine alikuwa amelala ndani ya maji bila kujua.
Those who transport their produce from the area also count the losses as their vehicles break down as they try to cross the river.
Huwezi kaa kwa muda mrefu na gari. Itakaa upate imekatika mguu. Imefunja bearings. Saa zingine tunashinda garage. Huwezi sema eti gari ni mzuri upitie hapo.
Access to healthcare is a dance for these locals, as they say transporting a patient to the hospital at night is very dangerous. Moige William for TV47.
Thank you, Moige William, for that. Now, Uasin Gishu County Executive Committee member for Health, Evelyn Rotich, was today put to task over the exorbitant prices of medical tools and services delivery during the COVID-19 response in the county. Rotich is accused of giving false information about bed capacity, status of quarantine centers, and other critical information to the war against COVID-19 in the country. In a grilling at the county assembly, members also raised concerns on delays in paying allowances to the health staff and supply of masks to the public. There has been a standoff between the CEC and the health professional unions in Uasin Gishu.
Have we already supplied them the isolation beds? Are those schools in use as per now, as we are saying? Because the report that we are given here and the names in terms of beds for isolation, and this is what is going out viral, the report from Uasin Gishu. But on the reality, is it a reality? Is it taking place? Like yesterday we were with you in those sites and Kaplelach is closed. But now if you take a report like this, somebody from somewhere will just still know that Kaplelach is still ongoing. Kiplombe Health Center it's not active. And somebody may believe from outside that we are giving a report on things that are not happening on the ground.
So we were also guided by the Cabinet Secretary that
the people that we should only test are the ones who are calling us in our COVID-19 emergency center, and also for contact tracing. So they are the ones we are actually asking them now to visit, to come and be tested in Huruma. To come and take the sample there.
What are your plans, really? Because I'm seeing the increment in terms of victims being announced every other time, over 400 daily, and I'm worried that was an issue. We might be in a great problem if we don't really go back to adhering to what was supposed to be adhered as per the protocols. I don't know.
If it has been attested that the procurement process was followed, and that was the lowest, then who was next? Who was next? Can we have those documents to see? So maybe to confirm this issue of Moi Girls and all this that you have recorded here, are they realistic? Are they in action? Are they active? Are people there? Are the beds there?
Chairman, we, as for the isolation centers that we identified, the facilities that were identified have been will be used as isolation centers once we have all the others fully occupied. I know Kiplombe, the community refused, as well as Elgeyo Boda, but this was taken up by the county commissioner and the Public Health Act that gives the office the leeway to identify facilities, and we are going to equip them. Some of them, like Kiplombe, we have already taken the beds, and Elgeyo Boda, we have already taken the beds. We will only operationalize them once we have a big number that we need to expand. We cannot close the facilities at the moment because we don't have patients to take them there. But once we have full patients in KMTC and Kamalev, that is when we shall utilize this. The other, if you see what is happening across the country, the distribution of the isolation quarantine facilities was provided to us in collaboration by the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education, and they identified schools that we can use. What the county just will do for the isolation facilities, in case we need to go further to like Moi University Medical School, is to just buy the linen, the beds. We use the available beds at the moment.
And still in Uasin Gishu, a section of leaders and religious leaders have criticized the manner in which Kazi Mtaani program is being implemented, saying it will not leave a lasting impact in most parts of the country. Led by Sheikh Abubakar Bini and Hussein Kosgei, the leaders say that the government should have used the program to encourage youth to plant trees and start long-term projects that change lives. They said clearing bushes and cleaning trenches in estates is a short-term project that won't change lives who will be condemned back to unemployment after a short while.
Around 80 million every month, Your Excellency. And at the end of the program, if this work is undertaken very well, it's going to create a very beautiful environment.
Of ICT Youth Development.
Evelyn Wekesa, Deputy County Commissioner.
Sawa sawa. Kwanza tunaipongeza serikali kwa wazo lao kuwatafutia
And on that very note, let's take a short break. We'll be right back with more news. caused by effects of COVID-19 on the economy. They will make a range of products from table mats, bangles, handbags, hats, dolls, among others, which are useful for household use and decorations from plastics and other waste products collected from the beach.
Tuko hapa because we are celebrating this day, and particularly the women of Baharini Women Group, who are registered as beach operators, and they are, in the wake of COVID-19 situation, they decided to come back to work and try and eke a living from the tourism sector.
Tulitolewa baharini ghafla binvu bila kuelewa corona ni nini wala ni kitu gani. Tukadhani ni kitu ambayo itaisha haraka na turudi kazini kwetu, lakini tumeketi tukaona hakuna dalili ya kurudi kazini, na kusaidiwa na Madam Kate akatuleta pamoja, na kwa sababu tunaokota taka huku baharini, tunatengeza uswafi, tukaketi na tukafikiria kwa nini tusifanye recycling ya hizi vitu.
Well, excellent story right there. Now, the European Union has officially included Rwanda among its list of 15 COVID-safe countries that will be permitted to enter the EU. Joining us from Rwanda is Diana Iriza, and she's here to highlight what this means for the country. Diana.
Hello there, greetings from Kigali, Rwanda. Now, the Schengen countries have updated their lists of countries that their residents are eligible to travel to. And this comes after the European Union came up with another list of countries that are epidemiologically safe to travel to. Now, Rwanda happens to be in both of these lists, and this is mainly due to the measures and schemes that the Rwandan government has come up with to ensure that the spread of the virus within the country is being controlled, and passengers traveling into the country not bringing the virus into the country. Now, if you look at the list of these countries, some of the countries that are within this list, we have Algeria, Australia, Canada, Georgia, Japan, Morocco, New Zealand, South Korea, Thailand, Tunisia, and Uruguay. And the Council has estimated this epidemiological situation in all these countries based on the COVID-19 cases that were recorded in the past 14 days. Another information I'd like to share with you is that Rwanda will be opening its international airport on the 1st of August, but it will ensure that all passengers traveling into the country get tested before traveling to Rwanda, and they come with a document that proves that they are COVID-19 negative. And once they leave the country, they also have to leave the country with a document that shows that they are COVID-19 negative, so that they do not spread the virus to other countries.
A good report for Rwanda right there. And Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed, Kenya's candidate to the World Trade Organization's top job, has said that she is seeking Washington's backing and expressed some sympathy with its criticism of the global body as she emerges as one of the reform-minded African female frontrunners. Amina Mohamed said a closed-door vetting session last week went really well as she outlined her platform to steer the body out of crisis from global trade tensions and rising protectionism, to a COVID-included dive in business.
It's a quest that Sport CS Amina Mohamed is determined to fulfill. Delegates say Mohamed, a 50-year-old minister and former WTO chair, is one of the favorites alongside Nigeria's Ngozi Okonjo to replace Brazil's Roberto Azevedo as Director General, although weeks of campaigning lie ahead. The WTO has never been led by a woman or an African.
I think for me, getting the AB back on its feet would be a priority, because we need, a multilateral system that everybody has confidence in and that everybody would like to use. We've used it before. All the, the big players have used it before very successfully. So we need to go back to that space.
The United States has paralyzed the appellate body by blocking new judges. In an apparent nod to Washington, she referred to the concerns about the body's overreach.
I think those the concerns that have been raised, they would not have been raised if they did not have solid reason to raise them, and they should be. And there's I think, evidence that has been provided, and I think it's important that we address that.
The U.S. mission did not immediately respond to a request for a comment. Her supporters, including her current boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta, say she combines deep WTO knowledge with a drive to overhaul its 25-year-old rules. However, she must win over those African countries who have expressed support for Okonjo-Iweala.
So the difference, I think, between me and them is that I have worked this system. I have worked it fully, and not just as a delegate, but as a chair of the different bodies. I have delivered as an ambassador in Geneva. I delivered an amendment to a major, treaty, and I delivered a decent package in Nairobi. I don't think any of them can claim that. They can't claim that, and that's why I believe that I can hit the ground running.
Over the past week, countries have been hosting Geneva cocktail parties to showcase candidates. The WTO eliminates them in batches, starting with those unlikely to win consensus from 164 members. For TV47, my name is Tracy Mukami.
And that update by Tracy Mukami marks the end of news for this afternoon. Thank you so much for keeping me company. Be rest assured to get more updates later at 4.